both England and Wales, there are a large number of people and organisations who provide education, social and healthcare for children and vulnerable adults, or people whose jobs bring them into direct, regular contact with vulnerable groups. For example, care homes, children's homes, childminders, social workers and teachers. Occasionally, problems arise that lead to them losing their right to practice. Sometimes individuals are placed on lists, prohibiting them from working with children or vulnerable adults. When this happens, they can appeal against the decision of their regulatory body. The organisation that hears these appeals is the Care Standards Tribunal, the CST. Whatever your reason for appealing to the CST, you can be confident that they will deal with your case fairly. And there are things that you can do to ensure you make your case as effectively as possible. In this video, you'll see how the tribunal works and what you need to do to prepare. This is especially important if you don't have legal representation. Although the case you'll see is fictional, it's typical of many that the tribunal hears. It's about a childminder. But whatever you are appealing about, and however complex your case, the basic processes of the tribunal are the same. Jean Harrison has been a registered childminder for 5 years. Her regulator is Ofsted. They believe that in recent months, the standards Jean provides have fallen well below the level they require. They've told her they intend to cancel her registration. She's made representations to Ofsted about this, but in the past few days, they've confirmed their decision. Now Jean is appealing to the CST. She is called the appellant, and Ofsted is the respondent. This is the headquarters of the CST in Pocock Street, near Waterloo Station in London, where Jean's appeal will be sent. The CST is a judicial body with a full-time team of administrators who process all the paperwork and make the arrangements for hearings. Jean's hearing will be held in a room like this. It's intended to be businesslike, but it's not a court. The tribunal panel that considers the case has 3 members. The chair of the panel is a qualified lawyer who ensures that the hearing is conducted correctly and within the requirements of the law. The other 2 are not lawyers, but have considerable knowledge of the area of care with which the case is concerned. None of them are CST employees. They are all independent experts drawn from a list of people from different parts of the country who have agreed to serve on CST panels and who have been appointed by the Lord Chancellor. Susan Howell is a tribunal panel member who has been involved with the CST for about 5 years.
People like myself who are not lawyers choose to serve on the Care Standards Tribunal because we all have extensive experience in the health, education, social care field. This means we're familiar with matters that come before this tribunal. We receive regular training, so we're updated on the legislation and procedures. Some of us sit on other tribunals, so we're used to making decisions on the evidence before us. My own particular experience is that I've worked with children and families in a social services setting, also with people with learning disabilities, mental health problems. And all of us have other jobs, so we only come together when we're appointed to sit on a hearing such as this. So it means we're completely independent of the regulatory bodies, against whose decisions members of the public may appeal.
The first stage of the appeal process is to fill out the appeal form. It's a good idea to write out what you want to say in rough first, and then copy it in. You need to make sure you list all the facts you think are relevant, accurately and truthfully. Think carefully about what you put, because you cannot change the reasons for your appeal without getting permission from the tribunal. If you have legal representation, your solicitor will be able to help you. If you cannot afford legal advice, you might want to seek help from somewhere like the Citizens Advice Bureau. In addition, you have to gather together all the evidence you think supports your case, like letters or visual evidence if you have it. However, if you do not have all the evidence to hand at the time you complete the appeal form, don't worry. You will have an opportunity to submit all your documents at a later date. You will be told when this evidence needs to be sent. Whenever you send in documents, it will help both you and the tribunal if you arrange them in date order. And when you've finished, make a copy of everything to keep for yourself, just in case.
It's important to remember that the better prepared your case is, the better you can present it and the better the decision will be. So if you remember that in order to prepare your case properly, it needs to be clear and presented on paper as well as possible, then we have an opportunity as a panel to reach a clear decision. The clearer your evidence is, the clearer our decision will be. We appreciate that for any applicant appearing in front of a tribunal, and this is quite a formal process, it is quite a stressful experience. And obviously it's going to be more stressful for somebody who hasn't got a representative and has to present their own case. We do try to be as helpful as possible, but obviously we can't be seen to be favouring one side over the other. So whilst we do try and assist, we can't break the rules. So we give every help, but we are very clear that you need to come to us as well prepared as possible. And that way we can have a clear set of evidence and reach a clear decision on the basis of that evidence. It's my job as the chair of the panel to make sure that that evidence is presented as clearly as possible, to help applicants do that, but also to make sure that it's as truthful as possible.
You have a time limit in which to lodge your appeal. For appeals against inclusion in the Protection of Children or Vulnerable Adults lists, it's 3 months. For most other appeals, it's 28 days from when your regulator made its final decision. That's what Jean has. Make sure you know what your limit is and keep within it. Some appeals are lost because they arrive too late. For safety's sake, it's a good idea to send your appeal to the CST by registered post.